took the long way around. That stressed me out. Took me back to my catering days. Bad news. Okay, back to the show. Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here to present the Vanguard Award to my dear friend and sister, Miss Peppermint. We met actually making our Broadway debuts together in 2008 in the little-known show called Head Over Heels. Yes, where Peppermint made history as the first openly trans woman to originate a principal role on Broadway. And when we met, I knew very quickly that we were meant to be dear, dear friends with her razor-sharp wit, her intelligence, her kind, kind heart, and the most contagious laugh you've ever heard in your life. And I watched her light up the stage, and I saw audiences flock to her, and especially young kids, and I would see them wait at the stage door, just tears in their eyes, so excited to meet someone who represented who they were in some way or another. And she was a beacon of light. She continues to be a beacon of light, and especially in times like right now, sadly, where being your authentic self can be an act of resistance. And she is nothing but an act of resistance in being an openly beautiful, God, you're so beautiful, stunning person that is so kind, that is so giving, that is nothing but something you hope to be and hope to meet. And whether you've seen her on stage, in person, whether you've watched her on Instagram or online asking whether it's fashion, or perhaps on your television, especially this past season of Traitors. I'm still upset about that. But to watch her eloquently address some inherent bias and how she was still this beautiful beacon of coming together with ignorance and trying to get out there so that she would say, I am someone that you should know if you don't already. You are beauty, you are light, you are everything, and we are all better for having you in this world with every platform you have, and I'm so grateful to be your friend, and congrats on your award, Miss Peppermint!
Oh my gosh. Wow. Thank you, Bonnie. I am very also honored to be here. I'll just say it. Wow. You know, I think about how long I've been doing my thing here in New York and in entertainment, in nightlife, whatever, to pay the bills. And a lot of those moments have always been an effort to not only have a little bit of entertainment, but also provide some kind of connection to the LGBTQ+ community, whether it's for us or for people outside of the community who I think should get to know us a little bit better. And I spend lots of time, I don't want to say obsessing, but obsessing about our community every single day. And so it's rare that the people who do that type of work, which it's not necessarily paid work, it's just I care about my community, so I'm going to do something for it. It's rare that we get recognized. And so this is very, very special to me. So thank you so much, Live Out Loud and Leo. So I think about role models, and I think about my experience as a young person in school. And, you know, it was probably a lot like a lot of people in this room who are in the queer community. I was teased, I was bullied, and I didn't necessarily have, there certainly weren't any obvious examples of out Black trans women for me to, out trans people in general, that were in the media and uplifted in any type of a way that was very visible for me to be able to sort of latch on to. And so, you know, my queer icons were, you know, Richard Simmons, and who never was officially out, but, and Prince, who wasn't out as an LGBT person, but was definitely queer and breaking all of the rules of gender, especially for a black man, and that was not lost on me. And so those are the people that I had, was able to kind of say, okay, it's something similar going on here. And, in high school, I had my fair share of moments with the bullies. And as friendly as I wanted to be with everybody and make friends with so many people, there were a lot of people, not my heel going through the stage. I wanted to be friends with as many people as possible, and I was. And I think I was relatively popular, but there were people who just wanted to target me. Like, it just was a part of their upbringing. They were trained to police gender. And so, I was definitely the queerest, most flamboyant, and obvious target for those people. And I'm really grateful to some people who provided some solace for me. They were teachers and employees at the school, my drama club teacher, who provided not only a place for me to sort of hide from, the bullies, but also a place where I could express myself and connect with art and theater, which is and should be, hopefully will always be, a safe space for people who think differently and queer people. Oh, sorry, somebody's speech. My high school best friend, Tim Hams, who I'm still best friends with, he was, the typical straight white guy. Not typical, but I don't want to be. He wasn't basic. An exceptional straight white guy who wasn't afraid as a football player. I think he was captain of a football squat team, whatever. Who wasn't afraid to be seen walking in the hall next to that obviously queer, very flamboyant queer person who I was also the captain of my cheerleading squad. And so, it was like some weird sort of couple, but we weren't together. It was weird. But he definitely took a lot. He was targeted just for being friends with me. And so that's when I learned sort of the importance of allyship and people standing with us who may not necessarily identify as LGBTQ+, but for all intents and purposes, stand with us day in and day out, and they are a part of our queer community for that. People like Bonnie Milligan. And I'm grateful because if it weren't for, as I said, I didn't necessarily have an out queer person to look up to that I could connect with. So the people around me were a bunch of allies, people that provided cover, people that provided protection because of something that they recognized, And I'm grateful that I have the platform that I do now to recognize and sort of go back and look through the platform and the internet that we have now, because the internet wasn't popping the way that it is now when I was in high school. To go back and, sort of redeem the names of the Black trans women that existed, but I never knew anything about. And so I'm going to speak their names right here, because I'm sure there's someone who hasn't heard them. Mary Jones, who was criminalized for being a sex worker. This is all 17th century for the most part. Lucy Hicks Anderson, who was criminalized for having the wrong genitalia and was legally married to her husband, but then criminalized for that. Frances Thompson was just criminalized and forced to serve on the chain gang and held in men's prisons, which by today's standards would certainly qualify as American chattel slavery. I think about those women and what they probably would have had to endure, and I'm grateful that I haven't had to endure those same things, but I'm also kind of discouraged. Okay, I'm discouraged and grateful for a lot of different things. It's complicated. I'm really grateful that I've had the opportunity to be on television and on Broadway, because it gives me privilege and allows me some safety and security that I know that if I hadn't been in those situations on TV, on Broadway, then I probably wouldn't be able to enjoy the same type of safety and security. Because before I was on RuPaul's Drag Race in 2017, I was just considering whether or not I was going to go into survival sex work, because those were the only options that I really had. That's very recent, but it wasn't that long ago. And, you know, I know that there's so many other women like me who still have to face that choice today. And I know that is in part, it's obviously because of discrimination. It's obviously because of a lot of the anti-LGBTQ legislation that's still surging through our legislative halls today, locally around the country, some even in New York, parts of New York. But overall, it really is because of public thinking. And it's because the people who are targeting those people, the police officers who are criminalizing those people, the lawmakers who are making these laws that target people, that effectively target them for being marginalized, being poor, being queer, being trans, being a sex worker. And also the people who make the policies that keep people out of employment, that stop them from being able to get a job at the mall or work at the library, so then they have to go into survival sex work. That is that cycle, that's a very vicious cycle that a lot of people get caught up in and can't get out of. And so I know that it's the importance of our allies and our teachers and people in school that can really break that cycle. Not only for that one, there's statistically more than one, queer person in the class, but also really for the rest of those students to see this is how you should treat these people. You see them as different and they may be different, but this is how they deserve to be treated. And so I'm grateful to Live Out Loud and all of the work that you do in allowing us, people in the community who are no longer in school, probably been out for a long time, to connect and build bridges with those that are still have access and have the ability to influence our youth. And so this Vanguard Award will sit very proudly on my mantle. I don't have a mantle, but on the damn shelf. Thank you so much, New York City.